Gensel on the right. He's got Jake Gensel.
Hundley holds, steps up. Hundley sacks T.J. Watt. NFL history. Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record.
Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game.
Announcement. You know, you call me machine and talking machine. Whoa, this
We're on television.
We made it to TV, baby. Thank you, Dave Cable. We salute you. We got a mic up. Steve, help Smoking Jim. Thank you, Dave.
Where'd my mic go? Oh, there it is.
It was right on the chair.
Thank you, sir.
All right. What are we doing here? Where am I looking?
Just keep looking at Facebook for now.
Oh,
Dave, look out. You're in front of the people.
Sorry, folks.
Live TV.
It looks like we're locked up. What the heck? Sorry. I don't see them moving. There's no delay or...
Hello.
All right, I think we're live.
We're definitely live.
Okay, Smoking Jim, I get different trivia facts and stuff. This one's for you. This one's for you. Did you ever hear of Thomas Edison?
Yes.
You know he was an inventor.
Yes.
Okay, he invented, the record player in 1877. And you know what they called it?
No.
The talking machine.
Are you serious?
I remember reading that, so maybe that's why I got the nickname. I remember reading it. That was in 1877. The talking machine made his first appearance.
Wow, that's
I don't know where I'm supposed to look. What the heck's going on? All right. Well, we got that covered. Oh.
Hold him up to there now, yeah. There you go.
We lost our cameraman.
We sent them all home.
Send him all home.
Except Steve.
Come back.
All right. What do I do now?
Hold it right up there.
All right.
There you go.
There's so much stress here tonight.
Relax. You still look good.
Okay, I feel better now. Thank you. I appreciate your comments. I know they're heartfelt. Wreaths across America. For $15, you can get a wreath. And we have over 400 veterans in our cemetery, Presbyterian Cemetery, First Presbyterian Church, founded in 1776, has Revolutionary War soldiers and others. And they raised it last year. Go to the Bethel Park Historical Society, and you can sign up. You can sign up on their page, BethelParkHistoricalSociety.org. You can sign up, and they get credit for each $15 that you get there, and you can send your money in there. So go there and sponsor a wreath. And just to lead the way, I sponsored 6 wreaths. So Smoking Jim can figure it out because he's a master of something. All right, we'll put these away, and I guess we can go to what's on our mind. All right, Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
There it is.
you got to see Levine, my favorite white cornerback.
Only one left.
I tell you what, man, I'm going to be short and sweet, but I am so proud of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They played their hearts out.
I got to do a disclaimer. Smoking Jim's comments are only his own. Nobody in the studio or in Bethel Park would say anything like that at this point in time. And this is one of the truest disclaimers that I've ever said against my BFF, because I can't even wait to hear the non-logic.
Hey, they had a rookie field goal kicker You know, that kicked his
Did they?
butt off.
What?
Yeah, you know, the field goal kicker was a rookie.
Matthew Wright?
Is he?
No, last year he was a rookie
Oh, last year he was
when
a
he
rookie?
played for Kansas City or
He's
something.
been bouncing around the league. He still kind of qualifies.
It
but
shows what you know as a scout.
inexperience. Well, you know I don't scout kickers.
Disclaimer on a scout.
You know I
yeah.
don't believe in kickers, but hey,
Who's our punter?
fat black punter? I don't know his name.
Disclaimer, these opinions are only from Smoking Jim Frazier. None of us in Bethel Park or on the show would even say that or think like that.
And the I tell you what, man. The
Can he get 3 in a row?
Najee Harris ran hard, man. You know, Kenny Pickett played his heart out, man. He took some shots and he stood in there in the pocket. I don't know if these guys will ever be good. I don't know if the coaching staff is good enough to get this team to another level, but to play Cincinnati Bengals.
I have a question on
Yes,
Pickett.
sir.
Now, it only took 5 years to develop to become a good quarterback in college, so I respect that.
Okay.
Now, most rookies don't do well in the NFL their first year. You gave me
don't
3 or
believe that.
4 out of 8,000.
Okay.
So it was even 20 out of 8,000. So I noticed that he doesn't see certain things on the field. Like he doesn't see open wide receivers with a guy on them, but there's space. He doesn't see that. He sees Pickens when 2 people are on him, or Freiermuth when there's 3 people around him.
He got
So-
his favorites.
He's actually limited in what his ability is right now, the way I see it. But carry on.
Well, I would go to those 2 as well.
But what about Deontay when he's open?
Well, he wouldn't be on my team. He couldn't play for me.
Well, he
especially at
drops
18
balls.
million.
He drops balls, but they
Well, he
gave him
pouts.
18 million.
He pouts. He's not a team player. It's a lot of things. There's a problem with him. He's a cancer in the locker room, but they blew it.
watch.
They blew it with him. But that's what's on my mind. I'm proud of the way they played. They held in there to the end with a very, very good football team, and they got to find a way somehow, some way, to win against Indianapolis this week.
Yeah, Smoking Jim, I just got a question.
What's the line?
I got to question your intelligence.
Somehow, some way.
No, but I got to bring up a valid point. We have the highest paid defense
Yes, sir.
in the league,
Yes, sir.
and they gave up 37 points, and you're proud of them?
Ain't too shabby.
Yes or no?
Ain't too shabby.
You're proud of them.
Yes.
Okay, we understand that
They played the Cincinnati Bengals.
I got a question.
in all white uniforms.
I got a question.
Yeah, what's
as well.
with that?
Go ahead, ask.
Real quick. I like the uniforms that they had, but how?
You don't have to do
Could you
the
provide
laundry.
more insight as to maybe what they could do better to beat the Colts, or they just got to do it anyway?
Well, the thing that I
Do you
would
think
do,
they would? Do you think I could give up 37 points and beat the Colts?
I'm not sure about that, but
Okay.
I think the
No,
best,
the answer was no.
the best. What I would do better is to play Mason Rudolph. Should have been playing him from day one, team one. If you see what that quarterback is doing and Geno Smith is doing in Seattle, I think that Mason Rudolph would have done the same thing here.
I got a couple counterpoints since we're a little off track here. First of all, did you notice the offensive line has not improved? That there's 3 to 4 to 5 defensive players in the backfield on all plays?
Against Kenny Pickett, yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And Najee Harris, did you notice that he can run without a Herman Munster steel-plated shoe? And nobody in the media locally has even talked about that type of stuff.
True.
Oh, sure they have.
When?
The fan people talked about his jump on Monday.
No, before. When he wasn't running, they said he was a bust as a draft pick.
I don't remember that. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody did.
Yeah.
Somebody did
Okay.
because other friends alerted me to it because I really don't listen to your station that much. I respect you and them, that I have a differing opinions on how you do business. Well, first I want to thank Ralph Williams,
That's my man.
Jim Ellenbogen, and 2 other people watching us. I appreciate that.
does
Ralph
know
said
Barry.
hello and happy Thanksgiving to all. Amy said hello, Nick, Al, Jim, and Smoking Jim.
He does know I'm here, right?
happy Thanksgiving.
Because he just thanked me for watching.
Yeah, and Chief is watching. Chief wished us happy Thanksgiving. Anthony Bacco said is watching. Tony from Chick-fil-A, if you keep Smoking Jim mic off, the less you will hear sport fiction.
That's funny.
We salute you, Tony. Joe Board, our man in Toronto, Ohio, with the best boxing gym.
He is the best.
Thanks for watching us. Thank you for the compliment. Anthony Bacco, Matthew Wright kicked for Pittsburgh Steelers 2019, Tampa Bay Vipers 2020, Pittsburgh Steelers 2020, Detroit Lions 2021, Jacksonville Jaguars 2021, Kansas City Chiefs 2022, Pittsburgh Steelers 22.
He kicks like a rookie.
Anthony, we appreciate that. And
He
that,
was on the Steelers even before this year.
and Anthony said, I'm right, and Smoking Jim doesn't have a clue.
He got me there.
And Amy said Steelers lost on Sunday. Very disappointed. Amy, we don't have a good Steeler team. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season because he believes in mediocrity.
And
the
arrogant.
standard is not the standard. The rubber doesn't hit the road. And he's going to have to answer for that at the end of the season. So we'll carry on with that. I lost track of where we're even at, but we're going to go to Guns Ellen Bogan on what's on your mind.
Well, what's on my mind is the Steelers, and it's a mixed bag for me. First of all, Peyton Manning's father, when he was a quarterback for Mississippi and had a broken arm,
Yes, sir.
him, Fran Tarkenton, who was the quarterback for the New York Giants,
Yes, sir.
those are the only two times I've ever seen a quarterback give up on the pocket as soon as he gets the ball and run.
Great point.
You know, another thing, the great quarterbacks own the pocket. They ride it like they do a chariot.
Well, don't they always step up? Like when they're coming around, they
you
step
got-
up, and you can see the field.
But you got to give the pocket a chance.
Where's our line?
Well, here's the thing. The line isn't that good. But we don't really know how good they are because he runs out of the pocket before the defensive line even gets there. So we don't know whether they could block or not. There's not too many linemen, other than the great ones, that when the quarterback gets the ball and starts running out of the
Yeah,
pocket,
good point.
can block. These guys are learning. Here's another thing, too. Bill Parcells was a great coach. Wouldn't you all agree?
Oh, I agree.
When he had the Jets, he knew they were not any good, and the only way he could try to get points and do any good was to institute the Wildcat.
Yes, sir.
The Wildcat is something that you use
Well, it's a gimmick play.
right. It's not how you do it. Now, here's what I'm asking myself. Is Tomlin and Canada, are they that bad, or do they think this offense is that bad that the only way we're going to do anything is to just run the Wildcat? And anybody knows the Wildcat don't win you Super Bowls. It just doesn't. And there's another thing that I picked up
You're on fire again. Go ahead.
if the Bengal receivers are saying, and the defensive backs are saying how predictable we are,
They are.
I see it. I mean, come on. How many plays do we see 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9? And what do?
1 yard pass.
Okay. The sticks is 10 yards away. They always so
1 yard
okay,
pass.
go to the sticks and come back 3 yards and try to run to it. And then the defensive backs are like, oh, here it goes again. I mean, you know, it's just ridiculous.
No, I appreciate you saying that. That's why I was so astonished. Look that word up, Smoking Jim. Astonished that you said you're proud of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Very proud.
I can't even comment on that.
Here's another thing. I
I don't
haven't.
know what you're doing over there. Look at him.
Go ahead, Jim. Smoking's out of
I
control.
can't remember the last time I seen a defensive lineman, other than Hayward, who gets triple teamed, rush the quarterback.
Good point.
That's because
What
they
are
don't.
them other guys doing playing cards?
Yeah.
I mean, the only,
Here's what they're doing. I made $1 million this year.
it's ridiculous to me. Look,
Yeah.
when the Steelers were their greatest, they had 4-3, 2 guys rushed, 2 guys stayed home.
That's the defense, 4-3.
Yeah, our defense is One guy tries to rush with 3 guys on him, and the other two they stand there and hope the 2 linebackers are going to get in there and get him.
And they usually do. So.
And the great guy, you get quarterbacks like the Bengal quarterback. They see exactly what's going on here. And like I said, I've never been a fan of the 3-4 and
Right.
5
No, we've
linebackers
talked
and all
about
that
it.
crap.
Yeah.
The problem is, they're too big now, and they're too fast now. I mean, you
Right.
got guys 320 pounds that are running a lot faster than the guys could years ago. That's why the wishbone, that's why the Wildcat and all that doesn't work that well in the pros, because the defensive ends are too big and they're too quick and they shut it down that fast.
And that's from a guy who's not a Steeler or NFL scout.
I was a defensive, I sit there and think to myself, other than that, there's this one thing that I always learned when I played corner. Turn around. Turn around and look at the
How
ball.
old were you when they taught you that?
12 when I was a
Well,
bulldog.
how are these guys 20 and up not doing that?
They're not, because they're not coaching them. These guys are not good coaches. They're
Well,
not.
Well, I
yeah.
can tell you in middle school as well, playing defensive end in middle school, we were always taught to be the container. So
Yeah.
even if we couldn't make a tackle,
Make 'em
as
turn
long as we
inside.
stay on the outside,
Yeah, never let them
They
outside.
would
Hold
be
it. How
forced
is
to
he
inside.
talking? He's getting smart.
you're getting smarter.
Yeah, you're right.
Sure. But yeah, no, that so the defensive ends, if you're looking at them on the end, they're supposed to contain so that whoever has the ball in the backfield is forced to run up the middle, and that's where you have 4 guys, 2 inside linemen, and 2 linebackers to be able to contain it and make the tackle. So
Good point.
it's a chess match in that case.
Good
so I'm
point.
with you on that.
Good point.
Well, the thing about it is, too, now you look at a coach like Chuck Noll versus Tomlin. Chuck Noll
Night
had,
and day.
well, okay, you take a guy like Elsie Greenwood.
Mm-hmm.
He was the defensive end who played like Tomlin's linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
They did stunts up on the front. You
Yes,
remember
sir.
they used to
Yeah.
do all the stunts they used to
Oh,
do?
among themselves, yeah.
But they were on the line. It takes, when you got a great quarterback like Joe Burrows and you're in Mahomes and all them, it takes too long for it to develop, because by the time they get in there, they're smart enough to dump the ball off somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
No. Thanks for your insights. I appreciate that. And it's just a lot of good things there. And what we're trying to disprove is we're debunking Smoking Jim. And thanks to Tim Davis, the father of Colleen Chaos Davis, a
Yes,
great
sir.
woman
Yes,
boxer.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out to you, Johnny Mariano. Glad everything is in order now. And then, let's see, Paul Haley. The only good thing about the Steelers season is their determination to come in last place to secure the first pick in the upcoming NFL draft.
That's funny.
That is great. Joe DeMarco, thanks for watching. We appreciate you. And then Anthony Bacco's making a couple things. Tomlin wants to be the player's friend, not the hard coach needed. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Jim. Nick Callis, what's on your mind?
I'm not proud of the Steelers. As funny as that.
The
as
first
obvious
time
as
truth.
that might seem. But I am proud of the Penguins just a little bit. So I'm watching the game they're playing against the Blackhawks on Sunday after the Steelers game. And they ended up winning after blowing a lead.
Again.
So they blew another lead, but they came back and they won in regulation. They got a full point, and they prevented the Blackhawks from getting any. So that's good, and that's promising. So I wanted to give a shout out to the Penguins. Hopefully that they can stop blowing leads up. Stop blowing leads. That's what I want.
give us something to do.
Right, right.
I'm just glad they have leads.
Yeah, well, I mean, but if they're losing the leads and then losing in overtime, I mean, I guess they're gaining a half point, but with a strong division this year.
Well, since I interrupted you, you know we have 3 guys that have played 17 years together.
but that, I mean,
It's never happened in the NHL.
you know, I mean, that's
What happens as you get older?
That's
When you were 12, you were
everything
winning
stayed the same.
home run awards in Cooperstown. You're 24, you're helping us on a show.
Yeah, but well, speaking of the all the years, I mean,
We have to.
I like that because that made me think of something. Like
I knew it would.
I've seen a couple shows and movies now, right, where you have reoccurring characters that come in over and over again, right?
Yeah, we do.
But sometimes, no, but like you've seen in old movies, or if you have a really good
How
movie,
old are we
sometimes.
Because you're a lot younger. Than
Hold
me.
on, hold on. In a good movie,
Sorry, we're old.
It's good when you feel like characters are in danger of leaving, or if they eventually get killed off, or they leave for some reason. Like you kind of feel more heartwarming, or like satisfaction at least by that, because like you're watching a movie, you're watching things develop. Like nothing is certain and anything's on the table. So when you have players
Hold it.
like the Penguins,
That's Smoking Jim on our show.
well, I guess. I mean, we like him though. This
Yeah,
isn't-
we do,
This isn't the
because-
type of character development I'm talking about, though. Smokin' will always love sports and be a very simple and
I
very
wanted you to give your
racially
opinion on that.
exclusive
Thank
man.
you.
I mean, we know that.
He's a great man.
But this is more real life. We're all still changing as real people. And I'm talking about when you're watching people's lives, whether it's fiction or nonfiction in movies. When change happens, that's a good thing. And you feel more satisfaction by that, whether it's getting killed off or whether just characters leave. You feel something. Now with the Penguins, we all want them to stay together, and that's fine. And I was even one of those people that wanted them to stay together. But in the long term, it's like maybe there could have been some satisfaction knowing that a change needed to be made. That's like when we were carrying Ben Roethlisberger's near lifeless corpse to another Super Bowl last year, but we all knew what was going to happen, right? We needed a change because he was old, and I don't care what people think about how he would have done at quarterback this year. He still couldn't move around well. We weren't winning a Super Bowl with Big Ben anymore. We wanted to believe he could have. So I guess in my what's on your mind here, thinking about the Penguins, hoping they're going to do better, also kind of understand, like, change is a good thing. I've said that before, but that was the best analogy I could make since Al brought it up, that they're all still together, and that might not be for the best. But I just hope that they can maintain leads and win more often than not. That's what's on
No,
my
I
mind.
appreciate it. I just want to clarify one thing.
Okay.
Like you make a couple broad statements, and you said all of us knew that this would be it for Ben. Most of the media did not, and most of the fans did not believe it was the end for Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, I've said it.
I'm just saying
I
you
s-
are an outlier.
I said it publicly back in December of 21 because everybody was like, "Ooh, he's not saying it," and he was like, and he did that general thing where he was like, "I'm not gonna talk about it," and I was like, "Yeah, but you're already. If you're telling us you're not gonna talk about it, you're talking about it. Things are gonna change."
Gunn's got
So,
a point, but that's just a little point that you're in the minority.
Yeah.
You were.
But see, that's part of like, in those of us, old Pittsburgh, that's a Pittsburgh thing. Pittsburghers get used to something. If my grandmother used to say Pittsburghers could get used to anything, even hanging if they hang there long enough.
Oh.
That's a tough one. What a
That's true.
grandma. I wanted to
That's
beat
true.
her.
No, you wouldn't.
Okay, thank you.
No, but what I'm saying is, we get comfortable with something, and we like it. Like those three together, like Ben. It's like, and all of a sudden, change just like freaks everybody out in this time.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there's nobody
Yeah.
for the
And
Pirates.
Anthony
really.
Bacco has a comment to you.
Okay.
The Penguins aren't fast anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Anthony. We appreciate your input.
But we
Our-
want to believe it.
That's why we only had 3 coaches in 50+ years.
Exactly, because we get comfortable. This is the way we like it.
Well, Pittsburghers own the team.
And they signed Mike Sullivan to an extension. That was
And you
that
know,
was a little hasty.
you know the expiration date on hockey coaches, don't you?
I mean, he's been around for a surprisingly long time.
4.3 years.
Yeah,
And he's been here, what, 7 or 8?
he got hired in 15, I believe. So yeah.
7 years. So he already went beyond the expiration date, and they gave him a contract. He's now the winningest Penguin coach, and we have him good or bad. And like my dad said, and I have to bring it up at this time because I've argued with Chip about coaches and players. My dad said most good coaches have great horses.
Good point.
And when you have the horses, like the Steelers are a little bereft of horses. That means Smoking Jim, no horses.
Coach Anna Marino always had the horses, didn't he?
Yes, he did. So how do you coach up not a good horse? So, I mean, that's it. What's on my mind is Steelers. How could it not? I mean, it's so heartbreaking, as I'm sarcastic here for people that don't understand it, that Mike Tomlin will have a losing season. We've set the standard. Is the standard is mediocrity? the next player up will play. We don't have good players behind linebackers and defensive linemen. My man Guns asked where the other defensive linemen are. Alualu's been hurt. The other guys have been rental players, and they're just hanging out. They made a couple $1 million, and they don't have to do what Hayward is. Smoking Jim said they should have never signed Hayward. For an old guy, I give him all the credit in the world. They're sending 2 and 3 blockers on him. So he's earning his money. He's one of the few. TJ Watt makes a difference. I saw one of the greatest interceptions by a guy who Smoking Jim said would be the best Steeler linebacker. He says a lot of crazy things because guess what? They are crazy and unsubstantiated. This was true.
You know, that kid that was one-on-one with him did a heck of a job on Hayward. That offensive
he
line.
did.
Yeah, he
Collins,
did. He really did. Of anybody I've seen up against him, I was really surprised.
No, that he did. And it's just frustrating. When the Steelers were up at halftime, I didn't feel like they could win the game because of their offense. And look what happened. We scored 30 points, and they want to fire Canada. Oh, Canada needs to go. How'd we score 30 points?
But see, Tomlin needs him. You know why?
A scapegoat.
Because at the end of the year, he's James Bond. He got to go.
Somebody brought that up. Was that you that brought that up before? Somebody definitely said that. I'm feeling
Yeah,
good. about
yeah, because I've been saying that all along. I need him because when they try to blame me, he's going.
There will be some changes next year. But like Anthony Bacca, he asked, what do the Steelers get for the most expensive defense? If you watch me on the show, I've said we have the #1 paid defense for 3 guys. The rest of the guys aren't even like average players. So that's what we get.
We're paying 2 of their brothers just so they don't get mad.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true. You're right.
I mean,
Right.
You're right.
There's no reason either one of them guys shouldn't have been cut.
Yeah, you're right.
No, well, hey, we all had a dump on the Steelers except Smoking Jim. He shows that he's a true contrarian. I got to ask before we go further. My son Drew likes watching the show. He's hooked on us now. He has a question for the VIP. He goes, ask the VIP, what do you think's going to happen with Aaron Judge? He got a $337 million offer from the Yankees. He's in San Francisco
MVP,
with his family.
MVP.
Well, yeah.
I don't want to think about that.
But he wants your honest opinion. He's watching right now.
I think he's going to go back.
What do you think? Give your honest first answer.
The Giants could outbid that for sure. That's not even close.
What about L.A.?
Juan Soto, yeah, even LA, but Juan Soto was asking for roughly that amount of money, and Aaron Judge, I would say, is way more valuable than Soto at this point. Soto is just very disciplined with some power numbers, but Judge broke a record that had been held since 1961. So I'm scared. $370 million isn't enough.
No, 337, I thought it was.
Oh, I thought you said 370.
No,
Sorry.
no.
Even 337, it's not enough.
Just saying.
Not enough. Either way, it's not enough. Not enough.
No, but it's unreal with numbers like that.
Yeah, but
Drew thanks you. He said thanks for Nick giving a little answer. So we got him in there. And let me think. Drew didn't send a message about Smoking Jim, but he always laughs because he can't believe some of the things that come out of his mouth. Except for if you want the green, see Levine. He likes that. All right, we're going to come back in 10 sections with fiction.
seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
Come on, you're okay. You look good. Just relax.
This has been so stressful. We got rid of all our camera people. We'll be back 10 seconds with fiction and fact. No, we won't.
Oh, let's just go right to it.
We're just going, how about this? We got Steve here. Steve Fisher came in. He doesn't even work for BPTV, but he's the MVP. And he said, go see Smoking Jim right now with fiction and fact, no sections from the Almanac.
Steve Fisher's the Rookie of the Year, going to help me with my gambling
He's now
money.
MVP. No, he's not. Here's what he said. If he brings up about gambling, do not gamble.
I need some money I need to hide and launder. But
What are you doing?
but anyhow,
What's he on again?
Everybody that knows me knows I hate Aliquippa. Aliquippa is a football dynasty. They only have 38 boys in their school. They have grades kindergarten through high school in their school. They're a single A school that always played double A or triple A because they wanted to play against their rivalries like Beaver Falls and teams like that. Last year, they moved them up to 4A because they passed some kind of rule. If you're a dominant team, if you got so many Division I prospects, they can move you up. Well, Aliquippa, not only did they smash TJ, which shocked me because TJ is a great team, they won the state championship and they returned all their starters. So they wanted to move Aliquippa to 5A. So Aliquippa's coach calls me up one day. And I hate Aliquippa. And so he gives me a call. He wants me to get behind, I guess maybe go march or something, or get behind whatever they're doing and write an article in the paper supporting that they shouldn't be moved to 5A. For a few different reasons that he gave me. Number one, they got a 15-member band. How you gonna trot that band out there and get some of these great schools like Bethel Park that got great bands? Number two, he said there's no 5A or 6A schools in the Beaver Valley, so they're going to have to travel, far. That's going to.
And they don't even have a bus.
Probably not, but they have some money that you can't track with the IRS and Aliquippa. So a lot of that money. And then he said that if they get a couple of players hurt, then, they don't have enough players to fill in. And he gave a few other excuses, and at the end of the conversation, I said I could care less. I'm not interested. But the bottom line is the PIAA overturned the decision, moved them back down to 4A. Me and Nick Callis, the VIP of BPTV, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, we were in the room with some great players from McKeesport. This was one of the best McKeesport teams I ever seen. They were a scoring machine. Last week, Aliquippa beat them by 50. And Aliquippa's playing for the 4A championship, and they got Division I prospects all over the place. When they blew out McKeesport, who McKeesport ran from Gateway to go from 5A to 4, they went from 6A to 5A to 4A. I don't know how they can keep moving down, but Aliquippa
Just
put
ask
it on
Gateway. Ask Gateway how they do it.
But Aliquippa.
Seriously.
But Aliquippa.
Oh, sorry.
Aliquippa put it on them. Congratulations to the Quips. They're still the only team. If you guys ever go to an Aliquippa game, they still have an Indian riding on a horse, and he throws a flaming spear at midfield every day, and everybody goes crazy. But, hey, congratulations to Aliquippa, 4A champs. They probably could have won 5A or 6A. Their team is that good.
Well, we appreciate your expert opinions on that, and we don't take your opinions to heart because they're sort of mean-spirited for such a nice
I don't
guy.
like Aliquippa.
Yeah, but you're such a nice guy.
I got to be honest.
Well, no, you're from Gateway.
Wait, you have to be honest? Hold on now. Think about what you're saying there. Don't go that far. You have to be honest?
I honestly don't like Aliquippa or Clareton.
At least he's not lying.
No, he threw Clareton in there.
I mean, I'll tell you what, for all the times that you lie, I am gonna appreciate this moment.
Did you hear what he said? All right,
Everything I say is the
Tony's
truth.
picking on you now. He said, "Happy Turkey Day," and I'm not talking about the one in the Bulls hat. LOL. We try not to pick on the nicest guy, but he says some mean-spirited things during the holiday season. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, Tony, and Chick-fil-A on Washington Road's looking good with the double windows and the porches they got out there to protect you guys. So we'll see when you reopen then, because they've been closed for a couple months to remodel.
Do you want to see a 15-member band?
Smoking Jim, I was a dad band parent for Bethel Park. I enjoy any bands. I saw band competitions. We have a great band here, and they're band hoagies. You would love them too. They're
Band
great
they're
band
great.
hoagies.
And the ones they give you after football games too. They're the same.
Band hoagies all made by the
So good.
parents and volunteers. You would
So
like
good.
them.
So good.
Give me like $7 and I think I can get you one next time.
I definitely.
And I'll let you try it. Maybe I'll treat you for your birthday.
Oh, thank
The
you.
only thing is you got to keep it for about 6 months, 7 months. No, and then Chief said he loves smoking Jim.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, where are we going next on
I gotta
this?
make a quick announcement.
Go ahead.
So for all the people watching on cable, there's about 7 more minutes. We're gonna get cut off from cable at 8 o'clock. So it's gonna be Facebook exclusive content from 8 o'clock for the next 10 minutes ish afterwards. Just keep that in mind if that's what happens. But we want to give you a whole hour of content, so we're gonna go an extra 10 on Facebook Live after this because we started late.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Where is it? Me now?
No.
We got to go to guns.
Ellen, but
Well, I wasn't going to bring this up, but since Jim opened up that China shop, I don't like Aliquippa either. Because
Tell us why.
Coach Mike Warfield is a friend of mine. And I don't like the way Aliquippa did him after he won them 100 million championships and put them on the map. And I feel like that he was disrespected, and I don't appreciate the way
Well,
Aliquippa
friendship's
did
a
that.
lot thicker than water in our area.
And I'll
so.
tell you another thing too. A lot of them teams like Clairton and Aliquippa, they only have so many players. I'd be willing to bet my right arm that a lot of them kids move
Yeah.
to their aunts and uncles and stuff so they could
Recruits.
play
Yep.
for those teams in that district. So I don't see
Yep.
how fair that really is either.
Good point.
And the WPIAL, to me right now, is so political, it's sickening. Now, take Mapletown, for instance. First undefeated championship team they've had since 1924. Kudos to the coach. He grew up there. And here's the WPIAL. They would not let them play a playoff game in Mapletown because it's a grass stadium.
Yeah.
And when he questioned me, he says, well, we're playing grass at the, what do you call that, Acrashore?
Acrashore. Yeah.
So what's the deal? And they're like, well, that's just the rule. So, there's a lot of stuff in the WPIL that I'm just not comfortable with. Just like 5A, 6A. I mean, it's just gotten so
Well, what is there
political.
only like 4 teams in 6A or something?
That's it.
Yeah,
So-
but it looks so. Let me put it this way: a duck knows its own. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
If I say it looks political, with my background, you
Whoa.
know what I'm saying?
I can't question you
Enough
on that
said.
one. No, thanks for your insights.
One other thing.
Oh, yeah, get it in.
Here's another thing that really gets me is like they're talking about Pitt, right?
Yeah.
They beat the equivalency of a bunch of high school teams, and now they're trying to act like we're a bull bind. Give me a break. That team, at one time when they almost beat Tennessee, I thought they had something.
Yeah.
And it just fell away. And I'm not a big fan of Narduzzi. And to me, more his BS trying to act like these teams that he beat. We could set up a team to beat some of the teams that they beat.
Good
So,
point.
I'm sticking to my guns, and that's how I feel about it.
Well, that's why we have the guns segment while Chip is gone. Thank you very much. Shout out to Johnny Lee that owns Coaches on Banksville Road. One of my best friends and my dad's best friend, Pat Carmack,
Yes, sir.
turned me on to Coaches. I've been there for Pat Carmack's birthday and other events there for him. The anniversary of when my dad passed away 11 years ago. We've been there. Never met Johnny Lee. Heard a lot of good things about him, and he has great food and drinks there. I can vouch for that. So thanks for watching.
Is Johnny Lee watching?
Yeah, he just said he's watching.
If Johnny Lee's watching, I enjoyed the heck out of his commentary in the Central game, and then
You were listening to the radio.
I was listening to him because he's a great commentator. He was great doing the Central game, and he did a great job on the Pine Richland game. So kudos to you, Johnny.
There you go.
Great
And
commentator.
glad to give you a shout out. Thanks for watching to the show. And Vince Renato reached out to me once about maybe doing shows at your place sometime. So we'll keep that door open to get in there for some great food and bring people in there. Not that you need it. You're always busy. All right. Now where are we going? VIP.
All right, so speaking of the Steelers, again, making it clear, not proud of the Steelers, Spoken Jim. I'm not surprised the Spoken Jim
Is this a repeat?
Not a repeat, no, because Spoken Jim not Spoken Jim, Mike Tomlin spoke to the press today and said some words, and it was interesting because finally the man seems to start to be backpedaling. He's not talking like he was in May about, well, we're getting better and we're going to the championship now and the standard. It's over. It's over. 3-7. Okay, it's pretty much over, and I think you could just see the look on his face where he's starting to fathom, like, he's coming to reality. I'm seeing a vulnerability a little bit, like, hey, well, we're not there right now, and we're going through some stuff, and the stuff that he's saying, like,
Whoa.
and I'm like shocked. I'm like, let's go. Like, finally, we're getting this. Now, I truly believe, thinking about it all, that he thought that he would get away with having a great defense make up for the offense's problems, and that was going to win them games. And I do believe that with T.J. Watt, they would have won more games this season.
At least 2.
But here's the thing. Like, I think everybody in Pittsburgh kind of had this flush go over them when T.J. Watt came out of that Bengals game at the beginning of the season. Like, this was it. He was it. That's why I called him the greatest player to ever live in a very exaggerated way. But seriously, he's that influential of a player. Did you miss that? Yeah, because you weren't here last week. I did say that in my opinion segment. But, like, watch. I think
got it now.
Tomlin thought, I believe now, kind of seeing what's going on here, Tomlin really thought he could sneak away, having the defense play well enough to get them at least to that 500 magical record that he's been achieving for the last over 15 years. So, yeah, I mean, that's my opinion. I'm watching it, and I'm appreciating the vulnerability. I believe that's what he was thinking at the beginning of the season, and when a guy who should be in the running for most valuable player goes out because of his influence he has on the team, then you got to reset.
Defensive player of the year.
That's a good honor too, I guess. That's true.
That's a big one.
But like
his brother only got 3.
But that bothers me that a guy that gets paid that much money, that has that much influence, that you're pulling him out of the game every other play.
Well, you need a rest.
Well, I don't want to re-injure him at this point. We're looking for other seasons, I guess.
But they were doing that before he got hurt, though.
He needed a
Really?
rest.
He needs a rest. They never gave us a rest.
Well, maybe
They didn't give us water.
What if they?
Salt tablets.
We were dehydrated.
That's why our freaking blood pressure's so high. They gave us
Yeah.
salt tablets.
No, you make a good point,
Yeah.
but I got to share one statement that I heard that was so unusual from Tomlin. You know, he gives his arrogant speech to the media all the time.
Yep.
And they asked him about why Deontay Johnson's not being thrown to. And he goes, they adjusted the coverages and he's not open. Then there's a Pro Football Report that watches the games from above, and they said he's the number 1 receiver that has separation with the defender. He's in the top percentage, 70% of the time that he runs a route. And that's why I said they ought to check Kenny Pickett's eyes. I think his left eye doesn't work. But they ought to check it because he's open 70% of the time.
Well, he forgets to bring his hands to the field. So
No, you
that
can't.
might also be a
See,
problem.
part of it now is what I said earlier.
Yeah.
He runs out of the pocket before he even
Well,
gets a chance
that's
to
what
look
I'm
at the
getting
field.
to. That maybe we would
He's
have
on the
a
opposite side was throwing arm. That's why
right.
he's running
Well,
away from it.
yeah, and part of my point is, okay, he's not looking for him because he's moving, like Jim's saying, and he has these other guys called defensive guys in those white uniforms right on him. Now, when you play football and you're a lineman, you're used to getting hit. Quarterbacks aren't used to getting hit. And I don't think he wants to get hit that much, so part of that's going on.
Yeah, but I also think Deontay not catching routine passes might have a factor in why he's not getting the ball more, or it could be Pickett. I'll buy that theory for now.
Well,
Yeah, we hasn't seen Deontay for a whole season. Look at last year. If you would have watched him the first 11 games, he didn't drop a ball. Then what happened?
He started dropping the ball.
Thank you.
I would. You mentioned Mason Rudolph. I'd love to see him throw to Pickett because they have a connection.
That would be beautiful.
I'll buy that too. When you said Mason Rudolph get in the game, I'd give him the rest of the season.
I would just
I don't
throw to him.
I don't like that they put Pickett in when they did. I've said that before. I'll buy that even.
Thank you, sir.
So
You know, and credence to him. I mean, there's a lot of times he needs to run out of the pocket. I'm not going to say he doesn't.
Oh yeah.
But there's times that he just abandons it when it looks like it's actually setting it up, and it doesn't. He
Yeah.
just doesn't give it a chance ever.
Well, again, he's a rookie and he's not used to the speed of the players.
But when you're 24, you're a rookie.
Well, he's the second.
Yes.
He's the second
yes.
oldest.
I'm just asking.
Yeah,
I'm
he's,
not-
NFL's different than college.
I'm not indicting him. I'm just asking.
he's the second oldest quarterback taken in the first round, and I don't know since they started
He's not the kind of rookie.
70s.
He's not the kind of rookie that Matthew Wright is to Smoking Jim. Though.
He looks like somebody took him out of an accounting room and just put him on a phone and said,
Claudio
"Just see what
Rosano. Welcome to Claudio Rosano, our friend and CMU head coach, and
my man.
does plenty of podcasts and shows. Check him out. Go. I can't spell it for you. Smoking Jim, his best friend, will spell it for you. Claudio Rosano. So check him out. Does a lot of great interviews with. I won't say they're mostly Italian people, but a lot of great guests. And I've listened to quite a few, and I've been on his show. Smoking Jim's like a semi-regular on his show, and somehow he's on there for a reason. I don't know. But, hey, we're just about out of time. I'm ready to put it up for any type of conversation about sports.
Nothing on location.
Oh, I don't really have anything happening right now. So that's why I ignored it.
Let's
But
talk
since
about,
you're young and astute, you know he's astute. Check that out.
how about bowl games?
Hey, we could
Penn
we could talk.
State.
Yeah,
How about I got heavy money on Ohio State over Michigan at noon Saturday.
So you've pretty much cursed Ohio State, though, right? Because of your betting records and history.
well, Michigan beat Ohio State for the first time during Harbaugh's career last
last
year.
year,
So he's playing. You know he's a degenerate gambler. He's playing the odds that they can't win
Harbaugh
again.
or-
Both are smoking. Look at him.
Call me Art Sleester.
No. You're better than Art ever
yeah,
was.
that's true.
No doubt about it. And you don't tell us the truth often, but when you do, we appreciate it. So that's how simple it is. No, but bowl season's coming up. You know, Pitt had high hopes. I'm not a big fan of Narduzzi, never have been, and I see the results that are out there. I just ask, where is Whipple to develop another quarterback? And then I always question, you got the portal open, right? And we got 2 quarterbacks from USC. Now, why would they leave one of the top schools that got our great receiver because they paid him good money for NIL? So why are we getting guys from USC?
Good point.
I rest my case. You guys can have opinions on it. Anything else, Nick, you
Yes,
want to bring up? Go
yes.
ahead. Nick's on fire.
We got news today that broke that because of NIL, the legendary NCAA football games are coming back. You guys don't know about that. They were big. If you don't know about
What's
that,
your source?
The younger people know.
What's your source?
ESPN's my source on that one. That was national broken news. But they
Well, I'm just a little Pittsburgh
You would
guy.
know he gets it right off of the freaking press.
that's not a
I
Pittsburgh.
listen to him on Sunday. He does.
But
I respect you.
But they weren't paying the college athletes for video games that they made before, so they had to stop making them. But a lot of people played them. A lot of people love to play college-based video games. But now they're bringing them back because the players can make money on their likeness.
Oh,
So
that's
a
great.
victory
Oh, heck
for
yeah.
for the players getting their stuff and getting their rightful name, image, likeness. And now we as consumers win because we get to play it. So happy about that.
Wow, very
How
good.
about does
Go
Pitt
ahead.
have a basketball team?
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
What happened to Jamie Dixon?
He long gone. But I just find it interesting that the coach is living off of Coach K at Duke, but he ain't. I don't think he has the. Like Jamie Dixon had this New York connection. He
Yeah.
was able to bring in all them guys. With,
A lot out of Brooklyn and stuff.
he just doesn't seem to be able to get anybody but thugs that end up in
yeah,
jail.
but he was known as a great recruiter.
Yeah, but this you know what I mean? How long are they going to put up with this?
Well, look at they ran Jamie Dixon out of town because he couldn't get to the Final Four.
He can't even. I mean, they played West Virginia the other night, got murdered.
They got murdered by Michigan.
Yeah,
They beat Alabama State though.
I
don't
had
even know
Michigan.
That matters.
I had Michigan. Hey, all that matters is I had Michigan.
Did you bet though? Did
Oh,
you bet
yes,
Oh,
yeah.
congratulations.
But you
buddy.
know what I'm
Success.
saying. I mean,
Yeah,
how
I
long,
understand.
You know, how long does your rep carry you?
As long as they pay you.
Mike Sullivan's a pretty strong point on that, just to create the analogy.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
you know, it's, well,
No doubt.
again, Pittsburghers tolerate a lot more than other cities do.
Well, some of us, exactly.
In New York, they'd be calling for his head.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Well, hey, thanks for the good show. Sorry for the delays at the beginning. Sometimes technical issues do come up. They're beyond Smoking Jim's pay grade, so we won't ask him his expert opinion on anything like that. And we're not going to ask him about Judge and his money. So,
The best part is you look so good, he didn't even need makeup.
on that happy note, stay Joey strong. The timer stopped.
Yeah, I did that so it didn't beep. I wanted you to take your time.
Oh.